Good evening to all of you. You're watching Lok Sabha TV. I'm Anurag Puneta with you. The trajectory of the Indian foreign policy under Prime Minister Modi's leadership since last almost 5 years has undergone a remarkable transformation in the short span of first term and now the second term that has started. It has made clear its objective of positioning India as a leading global player. Modi initiated a couple of things that it is being said that no other Prime Minister in recent past did. His neighbourhood first policy, which accords primacy to the nations in India's periphery. Modi gave a lot of importance to countries like Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh and other countries. What sorts of message India is sending, and its growing assertiveness is finding many takers within the country, but how feasible and practical are as far as the diplomacy is concerned, we are going to discuss in this edition of Public Forum. Joining me for the discussion, Mr. Ashok Sajjanha, former ambassador and diplomat. Very warm welcome to the show, Ashok ji. My second guest is Mr. Sreeram Chaulia, international relations expert. Very warm welcome to the show, Mr. Sreeram Chaulia. The trajectory of the policies, the kind of signals that Mr. Modi is sending, or the kind of template. I mean, on the one hand, he chooses the kind of words as far as the relation between India and Bhutan is concerned, but his defense minister is saying something equally negative about Pakistan. So how do you see the foreign policy under Mr. Modi in second term?
It's a sharp contrast, Anurag. As you mentioned, Bhutan could be like the best of neighbors and Pakistan the worst. And I think we are demonstrating through the words and the choice of language that, countries that are not suspicious and based on hate towards India will receive a lot of benefits from us. You see, so the ground station for the South Asian satellite, Ambassador mentioned, the hydroelectric project Mangdechu, which Prime Minister inaugurated, the energy trade. We are also giving additional some 400 crores for trade facilitation for Bhutan to be able to manufacture more and to export to India to reduce the trade deficit, which is right now in India's favor. Those kind of things. See, we are building the capacities of small countries. PM said, I want the young scientists of Bhutan to be trained and to be able to launch their own satellites through ISRO. So even space cooperation has now come in, from hydroelectric to space, entire gamut, And by the way, Bhutan remains the largest recipient of Indian foreign assistance, ahead of Afghanistan, ahead of any other neighboring country, and even ahead of Nepal, which is another sensitive partner. So what we are saying is, look, on one side, Rajnath Singh ji is saying, if you have a nefarious agenda, if you want to destabilize our country, if you're spreading religious extremism and hatred across our borders, there's no way we are going to, not respond, forcefully. And that's where the, no first use, nuclear dock, all these have come in recently. The ambiguity that they have created is to psychologically give it back to this neighbor, which does not know how to behave well. But on the other hand, cooperative neighbors, Bhutan is part of the BIMSTEC. And Bangladesh is very central there. These are the countries with whom we have forged really, really strong ties based on mutual trust. So what India is saying is, look, the Anurag people say Bhutan is not a protectorate of India. It is a protected state. And when we say that, a big country like India could, if it were a dog-eat-dog kind of world, we would be like, completely trying to hegemonize and colonize Bhutan in terms of capacity. We are not doing that. Instead, we are saying we don't believe in this. In fact, Sushma Swaraj ji had once said, we don't want to be big brother. We are just an elder brother who takes care of the rest of the family. So I think we are showing that through this neighborhood first policy of Prime Minister.
I mean, let's have a look what Raksha Mantri had said about POK. I mean, the kind of relation it is going to have with Pakistan in future.
कहते हैं पाकिस्तान के लोग, भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच बात होनी चाहिए. किस बात पर बात होनी चाहिए? कौन सा मुद्दा है जिस पर बात होनी चाहिए? क्यों बात होनी चाहिए? बात यदि पाकिस्तान के साथ होगी तभी होगी जबकि जो आतंकवाद को संरक्षण देने का काम, पैदा करने का काम पाकिस्तान अपनी धरती पर कर रहा है, जब तक उस आतंकवाद को समाप्त नहीं करता है तो पाकिस्तान से बातचीत करने का कोई कारण नहीं है मेरे बहनों भाई. और आगे भी जो बातचीत होगी, किस मुद्दे पर बातचीत होगी? अरे बात होगी अब तो पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर पर बात होगी बहनों भाई, और किसी मुद्दे पर बात नहीं.
what is more important, Mr. Chaulia? I mean, semantics, the posturing, the kind of message. I mean, this is very clear, and this is very what you call. I mean, we did not see earlier Raksha Mantri, the earlier Defence Minister talking about this in the same manner, in the same tenor.
Yeah, I think attack is the best form of defense, and I think very important psychologically, because see, Anurag, also internationally also people have a misnomer and a misunderstanding that when you say the Kashmir conflict or the Kashmir dispute or problem, so, quote unquote, most people think it has to deal with the Indian administrator or what we call Jammu and Kashmir.
Jammu and Kashmir. Okay.
Most people have ignored or have forgotten that 1/3 of Kashmir, including Gilgit-Baltistan and the POK, is under Pakistani colonization. So what I think Rajnath Singh is doing is putting the ball back in the court and saying, look, actually the Kashmir that remains problematic is under Pakistani occupation, and don't forget that. So it's a message not only directly to the Pakistanis to, in a way, try and scare them, because see, look, if they are planning, subterfuge, jihadist action and other things, they obviously are not going to say it. In the front is Imran Khan, who's tweeting all kinds of offensive and nonsensical things. Yeah. Behind the scenes, ISI and military are definitely going to plan that we need to make it hot there. So what I think Rajnath Singh is saying is, do not test our tolerance and our patience, because if you do that, then we reserve the right for an offensive that may go all the way into POK. Okay. So I think that this is signaling going on, and I think that should make them think twice about any military or non-conventional misadventure that they are planning in response to our scrapping of the Article 370. So I think there are two messages there. And then the third thing is, I think India is also saying that if at all there is a self-determination issue, it is in POK. In fact, in Gilgit-Baltistan, there are multiple protests against the Pakistani brutality of the military and of the crushing of the people's aspirations there. If there is a self-determination, our Prime Minister in the past has raised the issue of Balochistan from Lal Killa, on Independence Day. So these are the things. Because ultimately, in statecraft, what matters is force, threat of force, as well as diplomacy. And what we are saying is, threat of force is not off the table, and you dare try us, then you will see what will happen. So in a way, it is establishing deterrence. I don't think, as Ambassador was saying, we are not planning to reoccupy a POK, but at least the fear of it. Imran Khan is on place. Balakot se bhi zyada khaufnak hamla karenge.
But the kind of message Imran Khan is giving, that India might do something.
It should shake them up and make them rethink the cost of their actions, and should try and deter them from making these outrageous claims and accusations against India. If it doesn't, then we reserve the right, because this is information warfare, and this is the Pakistani military is tutoring Imran Khan to go out and say these things. They have their own agenda. We are saying, look, we are prepared for it, and do not try and escalate it beyond a point, because it aap pe zyada bhari padega. That's what we are trying to tell them.
You want to make some point?
Anurag, I think the mention of Aksai Chin is good, because again, like POK, it looks like we have been always on the defensive, simply trying to hold on to Arunachal, when the fact is we have a claim over Aksai Chin. And frankly, the only practical solution to this ultimately would be a swap between the so-called western sector and the eastern sector, where they give up the claim on Arunachal, we give up claim on Aksai Chin. That has been promised in the past, has been mooted in the past, hasn't been implemented. So I think it's good to put it on the table. And with China, we are also trying to stabilize relations. And in fact, the Bhutanese Prime Minister during this visit was asked about Doklam, and he said, it's all three countries, we should,
but
sort it out.
But did they respect our sentiment? Because when S. Jaishankar said that both the countries should have a mutual respect as far as the things are concerned, but the China went and did
and supported them for the Security Council.
Security Council, and
see, so for them it's an all-weather alliance. They are not going to give them up. And secondly, ultimately, see, these are tactical concessions they are making to stabilize ties with India, because they are under pressure from Trump on trade and other issues. But ultimately, their strategy always remains what they call balance between Pakistan and India. They want to play off one against the other, so that India does not become an equal of China in strategic capabilities and economically. So, in that sense, the Chinese long-term game remains to keep India bottled down in South Asia. But nonetheless, I think PM, the reciprocal Wuhan to Wuhan summit is going to happen soon. Jaishankar went to lay the basis for that. And I think we are looking to calm down things with the Chinese. So mention of Aksai Chin is not going to matter much, because in the longer run, what is going to matter is they want to stabilize ties with India, because they are facing more and more pressure from the US. And right now they don't want some kind of an alliance of all US partners to gang up and to counterbalance them. So I think we should make use of this window of opportunity provided by Trump and maximize our ties to stabilize it. The fact that there has been no recurrence of Doklam since 2007, the fact that Wuhan process is working means that PM Modi's astute diplomacy is succeeding. And I think we should keep doing this line, prick them where they need to, and remind them that Aksai Chin is not off the table, but on the other hand, look for stabilizing and reduce incidents across the LAC so that we have mature great power relations.
Okay, time is not allowing me to ask further question about China, but Prime Minister Modi is also going to UAE. UAE, I mean, the kind of relation India has with the UAE, and UAE supported us on as far as the scrapping of the Article 370 is concerned. How do you foresee the kind of, the importance between the two countries?
UAE, Bahrain, France, PM is going for the G7 summit. In all these, the subtext will be preparing for the UN General Assembly next month, in New York, because that's where the Pakistanis and a few of their allies will try and launch some kind of a blistering attack against India for what we are doing by consolidating control in J&K. So I think every step, PM is emphasizing de-radicalization, countering extremism, and state sponsorship of terrorism. So we are drumming up support. A G7 summit will also be very important for us, because as an invitee, we will be meeting with major powers of the Western world. And then UAE and Saudi have shown, have voted in confidence for us. Saudi recently, Aramco took a massive 15 billion investment in our Reliance. So if you look at it overall, we are weakening as Ambassador said, the monopoly that Pakistan had on the Kashmir issue within the Islamic world. And we are showing we have got large number of Muslims, and we can actually counter you even on your home turf. When you use religious basis to create diplomatic alliances, we can try and drive a wedge in that. So I think if you look at it overall, the planning is all towards consolidating our control over J&K, and also warding off this evil threat that is menacing across the border and is threatening to exploit this Islamic sentiment. We are saying we also have Islam and there's no problem with it. In fact, we've got a lot of Islamic countries on our side. That will be our ultimate victory.
Okay. So at least we can say that the trajectory of Indian foreign policy under Mr. Modi is quite clear, and which we were not finding earlier with earlier governments as well. On this note, we have to wrap up the show. Thank you very much, Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar, for coming and sharing your views. And thank you very much, Mr. Sreeram Chaulia. That's all we have in this edition of Public Forum. Thank you very much for watching.